if that's how you want to get started with things.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone at Whalecoin Talk community. Tonight we have an AMA with FarmerDoge. Here to talk about that is swoop style. And yeah, if we can just maybe, you launched 3 months ago on the BSC, 58 million market cap today. It's been a great success. Maybe we could just go through some of the history of the project. That'd be great.
Yeah, so it's actually a really cool story. There's a group of about 20, maybe 22 of us that have all been running together since June. We all met through one group a while back, and we sort of developed this like real true brotherhood over the last 6 or so months. And during that time, it was the vision of our CEO to start our own project, and thus the birth of FarmerDoge, which launched in August. At that time, it actually launched. The idea was to do a stealth launch. We didn't really have a lot of funding to back the project initially. And it launched and did what most BSC projects do on a launch. We had that pump, we had a big sell off, and then at that point it kind of just went stagnant for a while. And some of the people that were brought in to help us actually, a few weeks in, didn't see the value of what we were doing and what we were building, and and more or less abandoned the project. And at that time, our now current CEO Quest took over full reins and built the project from there. And actually, again, started in August through most of September and October. We pretty much just trended sideways while Quest continued to build a solid base of partnerships through his personal connections in business, real life, and in crypto. And the thing that we had really working for us to allow him to do that was we had this base of very core, solid holders, of which are all people who are involved in the project as well, to more or less hold the floor up while he continued to build around us. All of a sudden, come the back end of October, we started to see some of what he was working on paying off. And believe it or not, we actually had a run of where at the bottom we hit about 65,000 market cap, and an all-time high. We ran it all the way up to 150 million. It was an extremely impressive run, a very fun journey, and it was done differently than what you see a lot in BSC. That idea of organic growth, you hear that a lot in projects. Where we truly have been able to do that. The group of us that are involved in the team, we're all extremely experienced within the crypto space, but we all bring a lot of real life business to the project as well. And we've been able to focus our energy on finding a lot of outside, investors and partners, mostly through what Quest has been able to do to build us up to the point where we're at now. The thing that we have really working for us is an extremely brilliant developer and smart contract. That smart contract, just to give you an idea of what our project does and what that use case is currently, is we're able to farm any token in the BSC network at any time. As a team, a couple of weeks ago, we decided, we followed the TCG Metaverse and their project fairly closely, and we're all pretty bullish on what they were doing, and we decided that it would be a good idea to farm them, but as well as also reach out to their team and see if we could find a partnership within that ability as well. We farmed TCG for roughly 2 weeks. During that 2-week period, we helped bring TCG from about 18 cents to this morning it hit $1.12.
Wow.
The amount of volume So we're a 10% rewards, where our basically the contract accumulates on buys and then triggers on sells, and then that triggers a buy on the chart of what we're farming, which then passes it out like dividends, rewards. In this 2-week period, the 10% of our volume has related to roughly $4 million of buys on the TCG chart, which is absolutely astonishing to give you an idea of the ability of what our smart contract can do, as a what we can develop and what we can bring to a team, right? We're now going to utilize the statistics and the numbers of what we've been able to provide TCG to help bring ourselves into new partnerships within the BSC space. As developers, as project owners see what we can do for their project, the expectation is that there's going to be a lot of people that want a piece of what FarmerDoge can do for them. So I think that goes a long way with being able to tell you what our smart contract can do, and then real life use cases well outside of that. And what really we're passionate about is to bring that real life farming use case into the real life with donations. So we're working on a bunch of different areas of charities. I'm actually based out of Northern California, where farming is is fairly large, and then our dev has a lot of contacts all around the world as well. But the plan is to utilize a lot of the money that we're generating to buying crop with farms, and then donating that crop to food banks around the world as well. So that's kind of what we want to be able to do to give back and help out with the communities, to give some of that real life through some of our partnerships as well. We're going to be building our own line of NFTs. And then one of the other partnerships that we're really happy to announce is Swap. Swap is the first Chronos Crypto.com partnered DEX exchange, and we're actually really excited to be launching FarmerDoge contract on the Chronos network via Swap and the partnership that we've generated from them.
Okay. If we just go back to the farming aspect, is there a bot involved there that's picking out the best BSC performing tokens, or does it actually analysts on the team that actually make these decisions that are going to be best for the investors at FarmerDoge?
So thus far, it's been the team deciding. So as we evolve and what we're working on right now, I'm sure you're familiar with BSC currently is doing a bridge right now that should be finished in the next couple of days. As soon as that bridge is officially finished, what we've developed is we as a team have created a list of projects that we all truly believe in, just like TCG. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a community vote on that list of projects. And based on that vote, that'll be what we farm next. Now, the caveat, which is really cool, is we're also going to build a shill message into this vote. The vote has a DAO, which basically your vote counts based on how much crop you hold. Now, we did want to favor the smaller holders because we understand their importance in this project. So there's actually a multiplier for the smaller holders for their vote to count more. And then the top holders, actually their vote gets brought down some based on their holding. So it's not widely, brought over to that side. I kind of like to explain it as kind of the way California does their taxes, right? Basically, you're getting taxed a little bit more on your vote the more you hold. But your vote still will be, counted more the more you hold. So the idea is that we reach out to these communities like, hey, you've made the final list. This is what we were able to do for TCG. If you win this vote, we're going to be farming you for X period of time, and then run the numbers of what that can look like for them. And then hopefully the idea would be you're going to see the people within those communities come and buy crops so that they can vote on their project to be farmed.
Awesome. Yeah. It looks like TCG really blew up and made a lot of investors huge amounts of money. That's amazing. So yeah, we can go on to you're looking at doing NFTs for FarmerDoge in the future. What's planned there?
Yeah, so we've currently partnered with the Panda Multiverse. And Panda Multiverse is what they're doing is they're creating a multiverse NFT bridge. So that'll give us some attraction within the Solana network. And then I know that they're with the BSC obviously as well. And then I want to say the Cardano network as well. So that like the idea, what we're trying to do, right, is so my real life business experience is working with mainly clothing brands. So I understand the idea of what brand awareness and brand strength can do to help build a community and a project. So we're trying to, get as much exposure we can. That's why we did the swap partnership with Kronos as well, and continue to build up that brand exposure. So our NFTs are going to be tentatively built by and through the Metaverse partnership, Panda Metaverse project, multiverse project that we're partnered with. So that there's more being developed, and I don't really want to speak too much on that yet because it still is not really hasn't been started yet. But there will be a line of NFTs that are going to be developed as well.
Yeah, I mean, going back over TCG, it's been a huge success. Very interesting how you've done it, and then that obviously supports FarmerDoge price, and then with your 10% rewards, that's great for volume. Yeah, and how you're finding these amazing projects is really unique for the BSC, I think. But you're planning play to earn gaming as well. How's that going to work in the future as well?
So I know one thing that we're definitely doing is, so with our partnership with TCG, we're actually going to have our own land within the TCG metaverse, and then within that land, we're planning on again developing some of that exposure, and then we would like to be able to tie ourselves into developing the land within their metaverse to be able to bring real use case into the ability to be able to utilize our partnership with TCG. So I know that's one way that we're going to do. And then I don't know, Quest, are you on? Do you want to speak a little bit more to the gaming aspect and what we're looking at there?
I'm going to jump in real quick for you. Quest actually isn't here right now. He had to step out for a family emergency.
Okay. Thanks, Roger.
Along the lines of the games, it's been in talks for a long time. We've had previous conversations on what exactly we want to do with a game, whether we want to build a game outside of TCG and have it linked to TCG. That is still more of a next phase kind of thing for us. But right now, what Swoop has said about TCG is 100% correct. We're going to be looking at TCG most of the time.
Awesome. And going back to, is it the NFTs or FarmerDoge you can actually cross-chain? And that will that be a two-way cross-chain? Which blockchains are you looking to expand to?
So the Panda multiverse is Cardano and Solana. So that will give us access to cross-chain there. That is just within the NFT developments at this point. But we also understand the importance of being able to utilize the exposure with our token as well. Again, the one with the Kronos, the Crypto.com network, is going to be a different contract and a different token. But that's one way to begin to build some of that brand exposure elsewhere. And we're going to look at other opportunities for us to do that within other networks as well, whether it's a bridge with our current token or creating a separate contract of the same token.
Got you. And Kronos, yeah, it's going to blow up. I think that's linked with the Crypto.com, is it the Crow token? And that's blowing up. I've been doing very well there. And have you actually launched on exchanges yet, and you've got more sex exchange listings coming in the future for FarmerDoge?
Yeah, so we're currently on CoinStore. So that's our current CEX listing. And then we are working with others as we speak. But CoinStore officially is our other listing. And then Security wise, we've been audited by both TechRate and Scruffbeard. What's the name?
Drug seekers.
Rug Seekers. Thank you.
And have you got a sort of, you must have actually farmed a huge amount of USD. Have you got the value of the amount that's been farmed in tokens over the first 3 months?
So what I know for sure is that in the 2 weeks that we've farmed TCG, our volume has been, and I know it's roughly 40 million. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, so don't quote me on that exactly. But I know that it's equated to roughly $4 million in buys on their chart, which of course 10% of 40 million is 4 million. So, again, I know at the top, our best day that we had in 24-hour volume was 3 million. So, I mean, that alone means that our contract had $300,000 of buys on the TCG chart in a 24-hour period. Now, TCG isn't like a lot of BSC projects where they have a marketing wallet, but to put that in perspective, just kind of running some of the math, like let's say in a 2-week period, we bring $4 million of buys onto a chart. Let's say maybe 50% of that also then sells to either buy more FarmerDoge or reinvest in something else. You're looking at roughly $6 million of volume. And, again, you equate that into a marketing wallet, you're looking at upwards of $100,000 in basically, not free, but in marketing funds that we're being able to develop just on our volume alone for a project, which I think is really going to turn a lot of heads as we continue to build out those shill messages to help get to other communities as potential of what we can do if we farm them.
Yeah, you must be building a big community, and Diamond Handhold is very happy with your investment, and the team and the community, looking at these projects that could blow up in the future on the BSC is very beneficial for investors. Now, liquidity is quite low, 2% to market cap. Are you looking at increasing that to smooth out volatility and ups and downs in the project in the future?
Yes, so there are a couple of things that we're doing currently. So one thing, we did remove our tokenomics are 10% rewards, 3% liquidity, and 2% marketing. Our marketing wallet, just based on the volume that we did, is pretty healthy right now, especially since we haven't really started to utilize a lot of that. Most of it's been organic thus far. So we did turn off the 2% of our marketing, and it is 5% right now into liquidity. So that was something that we wanted to do to give back and understand that the importance of the health of the liquidity. The other thing that we did is we incorporated a 24-hour period max sell of $100,000. Not max sell, but anyone who sells more than $100,000 of crop over a 24-hour period will be taxed double. So that is to essentially try and keep the liquidity healthy, with the max sells being a little bit lower. 100K we felt was like a very fair amount for individuals who come in and whales who obviously can dictate a project a lot. But also, if they do decide they want to take a big chunk of that and want to take more than that, they will be able to. They'll just be taxed extra, which will then, of course, be able to help sustain it through the liquidity as well.
Awesome, yeah. And as the project's grown, I mean, 58 million market cap now, have you been expanding the team over the first 3 months? What's the size of the core team and the mods and admins for FarmerDoge?
Yeah, so we're not currently really looking to expand the team per se. I mean, I think what I alluded to in the beginning is that we have a group of guys of about 20 people. And all 20 of us now, as we've continued to expand, have really taken a step back with a lot of our other investments and focused our attention on FarmerDoge as we see it continue to do what it's doing. And our expectation is that we want to continue to see this thing grow exponentially. Like I said, we haven't really dipped into the ability of what our smart contract can do, and we haven't even really touched our marketing wallet yet. So I think there's a lot of potential for us to continue to grow. And if we need to, we'll absolutely look at that. But I think with the 20 or so guys that we currently have in place, I really think we are in a really, really good spot. Now, we did as a team discuss earlier, potentially maybe bringing on another graphics guy or something like that, someone who can help us with some of those marketing materials. We have someone right now who's doing that for us, but as we continue to grow, that is somewhere where we might need a little bit additional help that we're looking into.
Awesome, yeah. You've got 3,700 holders, really good, cool. You're on CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap. Also, you're looking at FarmerDoge merchandise. How's that going to build up as we go forward?
Yeah, so one of the guys who is on our core team, he actually has real life experience with building his own clothing brands and is working on his own clothing line. So he's using some of his business connections to help build out line sheets of clothing. And we're actually even doing a graphics competition right now for the community to build a hoodie as well. So having the community be involved is important, obviously, I think, for growth of the project. We've found a really solid, I think, base of loyal followers who love what we do, and we're having a lot of fun in our community with those guys. So we're finding fun ways to be able to give back to them and have them be involved. And so the community with our core team member who's helping build that product line out, I think our expectation is that for sure we'll have merchandise ready before the holidays, which we know is important. So I would look to see some things from us. I know our competition closes on December 6th, and we're hoping to have some clothing available to the community shortly thereafter that.
Great. And is the team members docs KYC on the FarmerDoge and audits that you've done?
So right now, we have decided to be anonymous at this point. I know that's something that could be subject to change at some point. I mean, I think that, I think the ability to do what we've been able to do thus far, plus our successful, audits that we've had, should ensure the security that we can provide. But at the same time, I think that our plan, especially when we move more into the use case of giving back to communities around the world, you will see, the plan is you'll see hands-on donation videos of the team. And I think that'll add a lot to the security of doxing each team member. And so far, we haven't had that request yet. I know that it's important a lot in the BSC space, so we're not opposed to it. Just haven't done it yet.
Awesome. And what's the plans for the future for partnerships? How does that work? You approach them about future plans and stuff from the team, and the community sort of take votes, and how does that all work?
Yeah, so I think just based on what our contract can do for other tokens within the BSC space, will allow us to really open the door to a lot of new partnerships as we grow. TCG is one that's a perfect example. I mean, they're an extremely successful project, and in my opinion, the absolute best metaverse project on the BSC network. And they've been extremely fantastic partners with us, and clearly what we've been able to do in helping them grow from, I think when we got them, it was about 68 million market cap, and now they're pushing up to the 250 million mark. Obviously, I think that they've been extremely happy with us, and I think as we continue to be able to focus on the statistics and the numbers of what we actually did with TCG, that ability itself. I mean, we're always trying to grow our partnerships from us because we have a lot of connections within the space. And then Quest, our CEO, has a ton of experience in real life connections. But I personally think that once people start to catch wind of us, we're going to have a lot of people knocking our doors down to wanting them to be a partner and wanting to farm us just based on what we can do for them.
Yeah, I mean, that huge success track record there. And I mean, in the future, they could be taking on Decentraland by the sounds of it. TCG, that's awesome. So going forward, what's the marketing plans? And like I say, with that, looking at projects going forward to partner with, how's all that going to work?
Yeah, marketing plans. I know that we have the one aspect that we haven't really gotten into yet, which we're looking to grow in the near future, is utilizing our connections within the Chinese marketing. Again, Quest, our CEO, has a lot of ability there, so we're going to start to hit that Chinese market a lot harder. And then we're looking to just to grow within our current partnerships and expand our partnerships as well elsewhere. So I do think as we hit certain roadblocks, I think to give you an example, right? So we went from 65K to 150 million, right? So people that invested in the bottom were 200x, et cetera, right? So I mean, we had a lot of people in some pretty massive profits, and so the idea is that we started to realize, as fun as the journey was getting, we knew that if we continued to try and push the way we were pushing, eventually we weren't going to be able to sustain it. So we've had a very natural pullback to this 58 million mark, and now kind of that consolidation period as we get that liquidity a little bit healthier. And then, I mean, we wanted people to take profits, right? I mean, that's what this business is about, and we're okay with that. So now that we've seen some people finally move on and we've seen it kind of start to stabilize, we're kind of really ready to take that next level of marketing, and you're going to see us start to finally dip into that marketing wallet, which is really healthy. And I think you're going to see us start to make some waves with some of the funds that we've been able to generate on this, this kind of enormous pump that we've had over this last few weeks to take us through to that next leg up.
Yeah, and as you launched NFTs and the gaming aspect in the future, will add to it. And the merchandise. So I can open it up to the team if anyone's got a question for Swoop Style from FarmerDoge. I've got an investor with a hand up. Sonny, you've got a question? You there, Sonny? No? Look through the list.
Yeah, I love seeing it. We got 111 people here too. Thanks, guys. Don't hesitate to ask questions.
Yeah, it's cool. There's no questions at the moment, but we can carry on. The aspects around what we might have missed, and recapping, because a lot of people have joined since we started. So I can do a recap. So now, Sonia.
I'm really interested in the whole NFT marketplace side of things. If you don't mind going into more details about that'd be awesome.
I think that it's in such its infancy right now that I don't want to overstep.
Right.
I also hate to say stay tuned for more details, because that's, I think, a BS answer, but to a degree that's kind of the way I think I have to answer that. We just partnered with the Panda Multiverse. We announced that last week, and then much of the team was pretty busy over the Thanksgiving holiday, so we're really just getting back to work and grinding that out. So I do think there will be a lot more development soon, but as of right now, I think the best way for me to answer that is just it's to be determined at this point.
Okay, and that makes perfect sense.
Progress.
But what kind of experience should we be expecting? I have definitely tooled around with some of the other marketplaces, and they can definitely be unique and have a great experience, and feel branded and awesome. So what kind of experience can we expect?
So I think from an experience standpoint, the best way I can explain it is that we have a team of 20 people who have invested in this space for the last year, and very successfully in most cases, to where I believe, given our experience and our connections within the space, I always have a strong belief that the team, when it comes to finding the marketplace and how we want to launch these NFTs, we will always do it with the community in mind, right? And my belief is that we'll make the right choice. We're not ready to make that call yet until we have a better idea of when the NFTs themselves will be developed. So I think at this point, we have to make sure that we have the development aspect in place, and then look at what marketplace we want to be launching those on.
Great, yeah. And I think
Thank you.
Sonny
Yeah, no,
had.
thanks for the answer. I know you can't get more details, but I guess as we continue these AMAs, we'll get more as we come. So that's
Yeah, and
very exciting.
honestly,
Thank
like
you.
feel free to DM me anytime, right? Like I'll probably forget this conversation or not remember who asked me, and you know, I'm happy to keep you updated as we have more information. I just don't want to give you the wrong information since we don't have it yet. So feel free to shoot me a DM at any time, and I spend, you know, my day trying to have conversations with anyone who reaches out with me through the community, because I do believe that in a lot of projects, the community is disregarded too often. And I think it's important to continue to have those engaging conversations. And I think that's why we pride ourselves on having a fairly large team of people who can help out.
Great, yeah. I think Sonny had a question.
Hey, how you
Sonny.
doing, guys? Sorry, I was on mute before. I just had a quick question on the private and pre-sale allocations when they were. I think they're coming out in February. Was there any talk with the team or any of the pre-sale guys on locking up further, or are those going to get essentially released in February?
So that's a great question. If you wouldn't mind muting your mic now, there. Thank you. Back to the reassurance to the community. This is on the forefront of our minds as a team. The idea of the way those wallets worked was that it really allowed the security of the floor of the token and allowed Quest to build what he's building. That floor is locked, right? I mean, literally. So, and it has kept a solid base for him to be able to continue to build. Now, when it comes time to February, right, when those wallets are due to be unlocked, I can't tell you exactly what the plan is because it's not official yet. But just like I answered before, I can assure you that we're all working on the plan that we know is going to be best for our community and our investors and our holders. We're not going to release that information until we know exactly what that's going to look like. But we want this token to run much, much, much longer through and past February. So yes, that date is important to us because clearly I know that it's on other investors' minds. But I'm confident that we're going to be able to come up, whether it's a long vesting period, whether it's a relock, whatever it is, we're going to make sure that we're doing something that's going to ensure that it's the security of all our other investors. And we don't want people that are going to be looking to exit just before that period because they're afraid that they're going to get dumped on. That's not what we stand for. That's not what the community wants, and that's not what the team wants. So we've got 3 months, right? So I can tell you that in the next 3 months, as soon as possible, we're going to have more information as to what we're going to do to ensure the security of our investors.
Okay, if that answered your question, Sonny. Have we got any more questions from the team or investors?
I got a small question, Glenn. So I was looking at the roadmap. You guys are doing everything, and I saw you're actually rolling out the local community food drive. Is that going to be boots on the ground, or are you sort of just sponsoring one or doing it through some donations? How's that going to work?
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be a combination of both, right? Like, again, we want the community to be involved in some of this as well, but we also want boots on the ground. I think I had mentioned earlier in the AMA, and I'm not sure if you were here, that I'm in Northern California, along with a couple of our other team members, and we're already in discussions with some of the local farms. And the idea is that we're actually going to personally go and purchase crop from local farms. There's a fundamental problem where a lot of crop is getting thrown away at the end of the year. So we want to try and utilize that by giving back to the local farmers and then taking that food directly to local food drives. Boots on the ground, something that's super tangible. We want to be able to utilize some of that for our own marketing. We want to take videos. And then as we continue to develop that around other parts of the world as well, we want to involve the community on what other aspects of charitable work they want us to be doing, and potentially get them involved as well. I mean, it's something that, you know, we're currently focused on making sure that the token is at a comfortable place. which we're now getting to that point where we feel like we're moving very steadily, which is great to see. And I think now you're going to see us start to concentrate a little bit more on some of those use cases, like the charitable aspect.
And real quick to hop in on that, we're not just doing it in the U.S. We're doing it all over the world. Like right now, we have it in Laos, the Philippines, Australia, and then the U.S. I can elaborate a little bit more on Laos. Laos is we're gonna be printing about 2,500 sweatshirts and giving them out to the locals as it's getting colder here in December. So that'll be one of our first donations that we'll be getting out there and posting up for everyone to see. We have a lot more coming. The Philippines, we actually are working with a children's orphanage as well. So a lot of different aspects of charity work on top of the charity work that you see in our white paper is actually getting done. So we're really excited to get all this started.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's an important aspect with the lockdowns and people struggling, and that's what crypto is about, sort of leveling out the playing field for everyone, the banks. Yeah, it's been a tough few years, so that's great charities to get involved with. I've got a couple of questions coming in. Doge Pie, you've got a question for FarmerDoge team?
Yeah, hi. I'm sorry if this has been answered. I joined a bit late, but are you now farming another coin? Is it Magic Flocky, and is there some sort of partnership there? And what's the bit about their background?
Yeah, so that's a good point. So we did start farming a new coin today. The reason for that being is that we are currently working on doing some test runs on our contract. So as I had mentioned earlier, the BSC is currently doing a bridge right now, and before we pick our next, maybe I would call it longer term farm token, Magic Floki was one of our very first partners that we partnered with. They bring us some connections in the real world that have helped us with some of our developments. So in return, again, because of the volume that we're able to bring from that to them, we decided that this would be a good time to do some farming to help get their chart moving a little bit. And just to give you an idea of the power of what FarmerDoge can do, this was a very low market cap coin. Now, we probably won't be farming low market cap coins very often just because, we don't want to create a pump and dump and wreck a chart. In this case, it was just something that we wanted to do leading up to the bridge. And to give you an idea, when we started farming them this morning, they were at 120K market cap. And I'm looking at the chart right now, they're sitting at 620K. So about 5+X. And we started farming them 3 or 4 hours ago. And we will continue to farm them through the end of the BSC bridging period, which should end probably, I believe it's supposed to be sometime tomorrow. At that point, we'll open up the vote to the community, to the list of next tokens that our team has put together.
Thank you.
Great. And we've got another question coming in from Anno 1800. You've got a question. You there, Anna?
Oh, sorry, guys, I was muted. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm invested in a few private sales myself, and usually when I go into a private sale, I know what the deal is right from the beginning. So with the people who are early invested in February, surely they know if they're able to dump in February already, right? Can you actually change it on them and say, okay, longer vesting period, so it doesn't damage the chart? Is that something you can do?
So, I think that's a good point, right? Like we absolutely cannot control what those people do. But what I can tell you is that we do have a group of all of the locked wallets. That's a private Telegram group. And I can't speak for every one of them, obviously, but I can tell you that the majority of them are already on board with doing what's best for the team and for the token. So can we assure you that all 49 of those investors are not going to be looking to take profits come February? I can't, right? Because I can't speak for them, but I can tell you that they're all aware of it. We're in direct discussions with those individuals. We know exactly who they are. I actually am one of them. So, I have no problem speaking on that, saying that whatever the moral majority of that entire group right now is fully on board with longer vesting or lock period. So we have 3 months. I obviously understand that people want to talk about it today, but I do think as we work our way closer to February, we'll have something more concrete to be able to share with all of our investors. And we want to make sure that you guys are extremely comfortable with that date and not worried about what's going to happen then, right? Like, we don't want to set this expectation that it's going to end at that point, because that's not our expectation. And I can tell you without a doubt that the team is going to be ready to eat up. If there is 1 or 2 or 3 guys who think that they decide they want to take their money, well, we absolutely have the connections in real life to come in behind them and recorrect anything that they might want to do to the chart at that point. So we don't know what the chart's going to look like in February. Our expectation is that it'll still be extremely healthy, and our absolute expectation is through February it'll continue to be healthy, and we don't want people to have to worry about that date. So we're working on that.
Nice. Okay, and I agree. You can't obviously control individual people, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just one more question then. So am I right in saying that you are the founder, creator of the project?
So no, I'm not. The founder and creator actually had to run out for a family emergency. I am involved on the core team, and typically I'm the one that runs most of our AMAs, but I'm not actually the founder.
Okay, cool. I guess what I was going to ask you, because you said you're one of the main investors as well, like, where do you see it? Like, I guess long-term in crypto is like 12 months at this stage, right? So where do you guys like see the project in a year from now?
I think given our team, I think given the connections that we have both in crypto and real life, and what's being developed on the back end and what we're working on as a team, I truly believe that this token is going to be something that we'll see long after 12 months. Obviously, there's plenty of uncertainty in crypto, so I can't sit here and guarantee this market cap or this or that or whatever. But I can guarantee you that there is a large group of very successful real life business people who are all working their butts off to make sure this ship keeps going, and we're not going to stop working.
Amazing. That's great. So how can we help then as a community? What can we do? People on a call,
that's a great
us
question.
Individually?
Yeah, the message I always like to share with our community is that Quest, especially, but our team is giving you guys, 24 hours a day, around the clock work, right? All we ask is for 5 or 10 minutes a day from you guys. If everyone in our community can spend 5 or 10 minutes retweeting, liking, commenting, tweeting their own, just any 5 or 10 minutes a day of shill efforts from every single person within the community goes a long way. We're working our butts off to make sure that we keep this thing going. If you guys can give us that in return, I think we can continue to see this thing fly in the right direction. So that's probably the best thing. And then also engage in any of the competitions that we do. That graphic competition, we have a fair amount of people who have already submitted, which is great. We want to see as much of that involvement as we can, and we're going to continue to roll out a bunch of those contests to keep the community engagement up.
Nice. Cool. Thank you so much for answering my questions, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks you.
Great, and we have a long-term partnership now with FarmerDoge, so in the future we'll be doing AMAs, and we had Hoge the other day and Dodo, and yeah, so it's huge projects, and so going forward, a partnership in that way where we can support them going forward. I mean, obviously they're 3 months old, so they've established themselves as a long-term legit project. No, it's the real deal, so investors can be confident in investing in FarmerDoge. I think we've got another question from D Tutzel. Got a question for FarmerDoge Swoop Style. D? Are you there, D? Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah, I think we've covered quite a lot. If we can maybe just recap and go over anything we might have missed, or yeah, because investors have been coming in and out on the call, so yeah, we can recap on everything about FarmerDoge and take it from there. Swoops.
Yeah, again, I think that what I want to communicate the most is that the power of our smart contract and what it can do for other tokens within the BSC and what that can do for you, right? Obviously, whether you're a small bag holder or a big bag holder, the rewards are real, and they can be substantial. I mean, again, you talk about the idea of a passive income. I think the one thing that's pretty neat, right? I think that some of the early BSC projects that had a lot of success ended up being their own demise. SafeMoon is one that is, you know, the obvious one that comes to mind. You look at the whales that were in SafeMoon early. They received reflections in their own token, and once they got to a point where their volume was so high, the whales were selling their reflections. Well, their reflections were 10, 15, 20, $30,000 a day, and eventually the hype ran out to the point where the chart couldn't sustain people selling their own reflections. So, you know, they basically created their own sell pressure. So the really cool thing about our smart contract is whether or not you're a big fan of the token that we're farming, you have the ability to accumulate more crop on dips with your rewards. So we're actually in you know, doing the opposite. We're actually being able to create our own buy pressure with our reward system, which is something that's extremely unique. And we're seeing our holders, especially some of our bigger holders, you know, utilize their rewards to continue to accumulate their bag, because they know the future of FarmerDoge is bright. So they know the more they can accumulate now, the more those rewards will be in the future. Just to give you a little idea, I was talking to a friend earlier today who is one of our whales who owns nearly 1% of the supply. Just to give you an idea of the power of what can be done with this token, his TCG holding went over $100,000 American today. He hasn't bought a single token. So, you know, just to give you an idea of what those rewards, and again, obviously I understand that not everyone's in a position to be able to come in and buy 1% of the supply. But it just shows you the power of what this contract can do. That's just one individual, and being able to see that and hear the stories and hear how excited people are to continue to get rewards. What they want to do with them is on their own. And you know, I think that you'll see some people hold the rewards. You'll see some people trim portions of them, and there are some people who sell all of them. And that's what's fun, is it gives you the ability to diversify your own portfolio without having to spend money, which I think is a really unique aspect.
Yeah, many investors will have, you know, got their investment back 5-fold, 10-fold. So they become diamond hand holders because they've got nothing to lose. They've done really well. And like you say, volume is key with reward. And because you're partnering with other projects, yeah, that's great for sustained volume for FarmerDoge going forward. And that's before we've got the NFTs and the play to earn in the future as well, all interlinking with that. So I think the future is very bright and exciting for FarmerDoge.
Yeah, I think one thing to remind everyone is that we're not even at 4,000 holders yet. You know, again, obviously, I think that the idea is that, you know, there are some people that are afraid to buy a coin because they think they've lost too many X's when it's at 58 million market cap. The reality is we're at 4,000 holders. Just imagine where we're at when we're at 10, 20, 30,000 holders. Again, I think we're still so early on and new within this period of what we can do with this contract, that this is still just the beginning. And that's why you continue to see a lot of our holders accumulate. Even though we know that some of those people during this early pump have moved on and taken their profits, which is fine. Many of our community and our holders understand the power of what FarmerDoge can and is doing for them. So it's just exciting stuff. We're pumped. You know, the journey's still young, and we look forward to continuing to expand. And we're doing that very strategically and carefully with an experienced team.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like early days, yeah, for FarmerDoge, and so investors can definitely get involved. Like you say, yeah, with 3,700 holders, imagine what you can do at 10, 20, 30,000. It's going forward with all the plans as well for FarmerDoge, plus these partnerships that, you know, I mean, that TCG is just huge. I mean, word must be getting out now about how successful that was, and yeah, you're going to see a lot of big investors joining the FarmerDoge community, I think, in the future. So I can just look if there's anyone got any questions for FarmerDoge team. No, I think we've covered nearly everything. So yeah, it's been great speaking to you, Swoop Style. Looking forward to the future. FarmerDoge, like I said, we'll be having AMAs in the future as well here, and Twitter promotions and things, because, like I said, they've established themselves now. It's 3 months, and a huge success with TCG is just going to, you know, make this such an exciting project for the future for investors, I feel. And it's a great time to get involved. Yeah, I say to anyone that's listening to the recording, we spread this around crypto and the BCG, BSC, should I say, and pin that here for our community to listen back to. If you've got any questions, we can get you safely over to the FarmerDoge Telegram, the official channel. I'm sure there'll be copies popping up and things. So yeah, ask us if you need to go over there and ask questions. Do you have the VC open regularly, like a few times a week for people to ask questions, Swoop Style?
Yeah, typically we do. I mean, obviously it depends on what announcements and things that we have, but we've usually been opening the voice chat about twice a week for an AMA. That's kind of been our schedule lately, and as we continue to expand and grow, we might look to do that more often. But roughly twice a week has been our schedule lately.
Awesome, yeah, and I think the price has gone up $3 million since we've been talking, so that's cool. Investors buying it as we're talking, that's great. Right, so there's no more questions. I'll finish the recording. Oh, there is a question. Here we go. Korean Jew, you've got a question?
Hey guys, just a quick question. Is it possible for FarmerDoge to farm FarmerDoge?
That would be endless rewards. I don't think the world would be able to handle it. I think the world economy would stop, and I don't know. Yeah, KJ is an influencer on YouTube. Check out the Korean Jews channel. He's been a loyal investor with us and has posted some videos. And
Happy Hanukkah, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's been fantastic for our community and our token, and we love having him on board. He's a big fan of FarmerDoge, and we're lucky to have him be involved.
Great stuff, guys. Thanks for the AMA.
That's great. Yeah, if we finish with the questions, I can finish the recording and send a copy for Swoop State to share with the community. We share Swoop Style, should I say. We share that around the crypto space as well for our community. So, and we've got YouTube and Twitch as well also, but I'll send a Telegram copy over to you first, Swoop Style. Thank you very much for coming today. It's been a really great AMA, and looking forward to the future for FarmerDoge and the partnerships you create. And yeah, it's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, Glenn, thanks so much. I really appreciate you having us. Excited to see, what value you can bring to us, and hopefully we have some of our community members stay here and be a part of Whale Coin Talk, guys. So give them some love as well, and I look forward to being able to do this with you again soon.
Yeah, I think 10 BNB, 16 BNB coming in. Yeah, some great investments as we've been talking. That's great.
Yeah, no, I love that. Thanks, Glenn. I do really appreciate it, and don't take it for granted at all. So thanks again. And to everyone who is still listening, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or anyone within the admin team. We're always happy to help and answer questions the best we can. And we'll always get back to you. So thanks again for having us, guys.
Thanks for coming, Swoop Style. And we always say after an AMA, you're welcome to keep us updated with the NFTs and the gaming aspects and partnerships going forward in our text chat. Keep our investors informed. Many are invested. Looks like more have invested while we've been talking, so that's great. And looking forward to the partnership going forward. Take care.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much again.